All right, pregame thoughts here. Padres and the Rockies, the series finale today. We got the off day tomorrow, and then the long Padres-Dodgers 4-game series back at Petco Park starting on Friday night, ending on Monday afternoon. So can't wait for that. That should be a lot of fun. But today, Joe Musgrove, he was supposed to start today's game, but he is not going to be starting today's game. He was scratched, had some shoulder soreness. The team, I believe, is calling it minor shoulder soreness, but I think the Padres like to be as optimistic as possible in terms of injuries that they announce to the public, just like pretty much every other team would. So we'll see how mild this actually is. Now, AJ Preller, maybe you don't want to take his word for it, but he was on Ben and Woods earlier this morning, and he thinks that Joe should be able to make his next start if they wait through the next turn in the rotation, or the main thing that he talked about with Musgrove was they're just going to see how he responds, and they think that it's not that big of a deal, essentially, and that maybe he's able to start one of these Padre-Dodger games. AJ also said that Rich Hill probably will start one of these Padre-Dodger games, insert him to the rotation there. He is going to be joining the team in San Diego. I don't think he's going to Colorado. And Garrett Cooper, G-Man Choi, Scott Barlow, they will be going to Colorado. As of now, I do not see any roster move yet officially for those guys. But G-Man Choi and Garrett Cooper, I would imagine that Carpenter is gone at some point here with this move, I would think. Maybe Brett Sullivan goes because there's not a need for him to be on the roster because they probably use Cooper or Choi as a DH most days. Maybe that's what they do. Or maybe it's Matthew Batten that ends up being sent down. And Carpenter ends up being DFA'd or something. Because, look, Carpenter, there's no spot for him on the team. There's no reason for him to be on the roster. Right? Like, I get it. It was a bad contract. Admit it. Move on. Whatever. Kind of like the Nelson Cruz thing. Like, it didn't work out. Okay, move on. You're just hurting yourself if you continue to have this guy on the roster, right? So, Carpenter plays first sometimes, DHs, left-handed bat. They just got someone in G-Man Choi that can do that. They just got Garrett Cooper who can do that from the right side. They have Crony who can do that from the left side as well. So there's other options, better options than someone that's hitting like under 170, and I don't even remember the last time he got an at-bat. So there's that. Lineup-wise today, Manny, it's a DH day for him. So that means Campy is not in the lineup. I believe it's Gary that's catching today. Joe Musgrove, obviously, not starting, so it's going to be Nick Martinez starting. And what should we expect out of Nick today? I'd probably expect, like, either working into the 4th inning or get through 5. I think he can do that. Like, he's someone that I feel like the competitiveness is just going to fuel him here. And I don't think the Padres are going to want to limit him to, like, 2 innings of work. Maybe he works into the 4th. Maybe he can go, maybe the Padres only want him going, like, 3 innings. But I could realistically see him working into the 4th inning, or maybe even getting through 5, like, as much as getting through 5. He's not going to go 6 or 7, obviously, because he's not built up. But I think Nick can go out there and throw 50 pitches, 50, 60 pitches, and be fine. Have the day off tomorrow, probably not pitch the next day either, and then he can be fine for the weekend. Coors Field, Nick Martinez, I don't know if that's the best combination right now. Nick Martinez, just feels like he's throwing meatballs up there right now. So just hoping for the best here. And it kind of sucks, obviously, because you don't have Joe Musgrove, who's probably your second best starting pitcher right now, behind Snell. You don't have him pitching in this game that would win you the series. And so if the Padres lose this game, losing a series to the Rockies, that's probably not going to make them feel good going into an off day, going into this Dodgers series. And even if you don't care about how they feel, just record-wise, that's a loss, right? So, you're making up some ground here with wins, but then you take a step back with a loss, right? Like, at some point, a long run here, a winning streak of 4 or more games, hopefully more than that, is going to have to come here, I think, if this team wants to go where it wants to be. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But the good news with the bullpen is that everyone should be available. I would think that Pedro Avila, I may have already said this in the video. Sorry if I already forgot. Avila probably will be sent down after pitching a ton of pitches yesterday, and then Barlow will get activated. He will be ready to go. Everyone should be good, especially Hader, Suarez, because they did not pitch in the first game of that Colorado series. They were down, and so they pitched in the second game, but that's okay. They can pitch today, back-to-back days. There's the off day tomorrow, and then they should be good to go for the Dodgers series. So hopefully they can find the right pitching formula and the offense can show up like they did last night, and that will make it hopefully a little bit easier on this pitching staff today. But it's definitely going to be interesting. My Underdog Fantasy pick for today, I'm going to go Juan Soto after having 2 home runs yesterday. I'm going to go higher on half a single on Underdog Fantasy. I like that pick. There were some other ones that were aggressive, like Tatis. I think it was like 3.5 bases, and I'm like, oh, that seems like a lot. Or 3.5 runs, RBIs, hits. I know it's at Coors Field and all that, but that number still feels like a lot for any player because just baseball is a tough game. Those guys still get paid, to be on the Major League diamond across from the Padres, right? So, again, we'll see. Post-game reaction coming up after the game, and then I'll have my live show as well shortly thereafter the post-game reaction. So, turn on those notifications so you don't miss when I go live if you want to be a part of the conversation. Thanks for watching.